Greetings, y'all, and welcome to another lesson from my book study based upon my recent book entitled Self Intimacy: A Beginner's Guide to Self Discovery. If you have purchased my book, please do send me an email at veronicamarie@mail.com so you can be invited into the group. And if you have not purchased the group, but you haven't purchased the book, you can do so on my website at veronicamarie.com. If this content is helpful for you, please do consider liking the video, subscribing to my channel, and also sharing. Okay, so let's just hop right onto it. Judgment. Judgment is a tricky thing. It's tricky because we need to judge things in order to live a life of ease and flow. We need to judge some at walking in the middle of the street as dangerous so that we won't do it. Or we need to judge hot as unpleasant so we won't burn our fingers. Judgment is super helpful, but at the same time, when it comes to relationships, it can be not beneficial at all. The thing we have to realize about judgment is, number one, it's subjective. What that means is everyone has their own idea of the quality or nature of something. And when something is subjective, then it is not concrete. And when it is not concrete, I use the language of it's not real. It is an experience in your reality, but when we come outside your reality, then it is not real to other people. That is not their reality. I think it does us a huge benefit to, as much as possible, come out of subjective judgment of other people's behavior, of other people's reasons for doing things, and even your own, and rather be more descriptive. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. You see, when you release judgment, you create space for understanding. Am I saying you need to release judgment all across the board? No. And I'm not saying you need to release judgment for all people, but when you want to be close to people, judgment can be a bit of a sabotager, especially when the way that you judge has come from dysfunction, pain, and untruth. Also realize when you judge yourself, you're going to always judge others because you're in a reality, you're going to project it onto other people, even if it's not true. Let me give you an example. So let's say you feel that you failed a lot as a child, and you haven't quite realized that you didn't fail. You were just learning, you were just evolving. And because you haven't come to that truth, you will beat up on yourself, maybe be hard on yourself, perhaps experience shame. You will also treat others in that same way. When they do something that you feel is a failure to you, you will react accordingly. If you feel that something you did was dumb or stupid, that's the way that you see from your inner reality. So then when other people do things, you will call it dumb or stupid. If you think that everyone has their own ways of doing things, which makes sense for them, and you honor that, then it's because you treat yourself in that same way. If you don't have grace and compassion for yourself, then it's going to be difficult for you to extend grace and compassion when things get rough. And let me qualify that: when things get rough, because oftentimes you may be nicer to other people than you are to yourself until you get triggered. Once you get triggered, you go into a subconscious state and you begin to judge people by your subconscious belief systems and such. It will even surprise you because you'll be like, I don't really even feel that. Why did I say it? It's because your judgments need to be reassessed. I always suggest that instead of judging people that we want to be close to, putting words on them like stubborn, selfish, inconsiderate, mean, rude, that we describe what has happened, right? Number one, they didn't want to listen to me, for example. They were more resistant than I wanted them to be. That's an example of a description. A judgment would be hard-headed, or they were stubborn. The energy of a judgment seals this person in your head in a particular image, and you can't see outside of that image. Anything that they do, you will pass through the lens of your judgment. Even if they're not being that particular way, you'll still see it that way. And if you still see it that way, it's going to cause confusion between you and the person because you're not living in the same reality. You can't understand. You can't come to a resolution because that judgment stands in the way. And that's why there's a scripture that says, judge not lest ye be judged, because with the same measure you measure out the judgment, it's coming back to you in the same way by you. You see, when you do the same things that other people do, you likely treat yourself the same way when things are rough. Think about that. Think about a time where you acted in a way that was inappropriate. Did you beat up on yourself? Probably. Did you go into a sense of anxiety or failure about it? Probably. It didn't allow you to understand yourself or work through whatever you had to work through. And again, if that's your inner reality, the way that you exist within yourself, then you're going to treat others that same way. If you've grown to see people as untrustworthy because you haven't trusted yourself or you don't trust yourself, then you're going to continue to project that onto the outward world. Then perfectly trustworthy people, you will say they're not trustworthy. The goal of this book is to help you understand intimacy from the point of self so that you can create it more deeply within yourself and share it with others. I hope this lesson made sense to you. I presented judgment in a few different lights so you can grab it. I hope that something I said here was helpful and useful to you. If you want to talk more about it, then you'll have to join my book study. There you can ask questions and we can go deeper into it. These lessons are just an introduction, right? But the book itself is what's going to bring you where you need to be. And the book study is the complement. My name is Veronica Marie, and I am a coach. In this function, I am operating as an emotional wellness coach, and I love helping people live a healthy and a happy life. If you want to connect with me on social media, you can usually find me at veronicamarie.com, DOTCOM. You can also reach me by my website, veronicamarie.com.